everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday. It's just a little bit before 11. Hi. Say hi, everybody. Just want to make sure you're all there. I see 5 people in the room. Okay. Well, this is what I'm going to do, you guys. There's a lot of things going on in the stars, but I've been very focused in on the moon lately. Hi, Elvia Rose. There we go. I think I got it right. I want to talk a lot more about the moon today. We have this week a full moon in Aquarius. It's the first of 2 full moons in Aquarius back to back. Otherwise known sort of as a blue moon, I think. And I'm saying that because it's in Aquarius, I think the average person may think it has to be within the same month. But they are technically within a month. This one's on the 23rd, if you're here in the Pacific, the 24th, if you're on other places of the world. And then next month, it will be on the 22nd. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about the idea that here's this illumination of the full moon in Aquarius that is just tailgating on the square between Uranus and Saturn. That is the theme of this year, where our old structures are getting a renovation. And it's going to happen in sort of what may feel like unexpected ways, or ways that it almost feels like expected, but unexpected. It almost feels like the timing of it may be unexpected, but there's a gear up of some kind. This inner knowing, this emotional inner knowing that I'm about to liberate myself from something that has been a long time coming. That's the way I want to put it. So, hi, George. Hi, Debbie. Hi, CJ. Hi, Juan. Hi, Amir. Hi, Small Wildflowers. You're in Costco. Oh, my goodness. Costco is one of the scariest places on earth to me. Hi, Nicola. Hi, CJD, since I have 2 CJs. Hi, Katerina, posted up. Okay, I think I got everybody. I said hi to Nicola. All right, good. Okay, so I know I shouldn't interrupt myself. So I want to offer this because as I've been doing the astrology work, and I also am very big into the laws of attraction and the work of Abraham, I've been thinking that my emotional body is really something that is not a luxury, is what I'm saying. Oftentimes you at least with my generation, people say, I don't care how you feel, just get it done, which is so Saturnian. And now we have Uranus saying, you know what? I think it does matter how I feel, because how I feel is how I'm going to get it done. So here we have these back-to-back full moons in Aquarius, where the light is shining so brightly that you really can't hide from anything. And I couldn't help but go back to the theme of 2020 with our transit of Pluto and Saturn, and Jupiter, illuminating our thoughts, the structures we've been living under. Are they working for us? So I want to offer this. There's other dynamics. I thought about the Venus going into Virgo, and we've got other things going on, a sextile between Mercury and Uranus as well this week. But I wanted to start to really have you guys think about your moon sign. Think about the aspects of your moon. I've been thinking about mine a lot because my moon is, now that Uranus has moved off of my moon, it's Saturn in retrograde is squaring my moon. So I think I've told you guys forever and a day, I have had Pluto squaring my ascendant, Pluto is squaring my sun, and Pluto is squaring my Mars. And the Mars will become exact in about a year or so. But where I'm going with all of this is, I was thinking to myself, as I surrender to the transformation that is being called forth within my soul, as I look and see that my soul chose this time in history to incarnate, knowing that these transits would be part of the story. And whatever I'd been ignoring, hiding, or even emotionally using as a crutch would be liberated at this time. And while certain ideas and certain situations may have served me at one point, they don't serve me anymore. So let me tell you a little story about this week. I have a new upstairs neighbor, and he's not here all the time. And when he's here, he's rather loud. I'll be honest. He seems to have lady friends over quite a bit. And last Thursday night, he was having a lady friend over till about 3:00 in the morning, and it was not pleasant. At least not for me living beneath him. So I kept telling myself, bite your tongue, don't say anything. And about 2:00 in the morning, I was texting him, are you going to settle down soon? Anyway, it didn't work out well. He told me basically this. And I thought it was completely inappropriate, and he was probably hungover. But the reason I'm telling you all of this story is because I kept chanting, bite your tongue. And on Monday afternoon, I bit my tongue literally so hard that it wouldn't stop bleeding. And, it's much, much better today, but it completely derailed my whole week as far as producing videos. And it got me into an old pattern of thinking I'm right and he's wrong. An old pattern of, I must have got him so angry at me because he disappeared like the next day and didn't come back for days because I can hear every little footstep. Instead of enjoying the peace and quiet, this is where I'm going with this. I kept chewing on the upset in my mind's eye, which was keep your mouth shut, bite your tongue. And then literally manifesting that made me even more aware of my emotional body because I was completely upset and disrupted and he wasn't even here anymore. And this is a huge theme in my Taurus moon, where I don't forget things and I hold on to them well past their expiration date, well past their viability to be interruptive in my life. So this is where I'm going. Where are you holding on to things, or where are you repeating Saturnian patterns in your emotional body that really isn't serving you anymore or even really in play anymore? Because this is an opportunity to liberate yourself. This next month of full moons in Aquarius has an opportunity for you to really look at not only the outside people being disruptive in your life, but where the pattern of your own disruption is. When I really get honest with myself, I'm not mad at myself for being assertive. I kind of like being an Aries rising. I've gotten used to it. But what I don't appreciate about myself is how I disrupt my own peace of mind. How I could be looking at the ocean and enjoying things, and instead I'm going around in a hamster wheel. So, my progressed moon is in Cancer as well. So it's very interesting how everything's been hitting my home sector. So my point is this. I really think that we have an opportunity this month because we also have the new moon in Leo, which will be 2 weeks away. But my point is kind of this, because Aquarius rules the outside, rules humanitarians, rules networks. It also rules our hopes and our desires. And with the new moon in Leo ruling individuality, I'm kind of thinking that maybe if we started as a collective, humans, caring more about our emotional body, not trying to figure out why our childhood was messed up or why we're not happy, because that just gets us back on the hamster wheel. But rather, okay, how can I liberate myself from where this has been? Where am I contributing a little bit to this idea? Because being right doesn't make you happy. And I know that. And I'm tired of not being happy all the time because I have every reason to be happy. So in my venture to be happy, I noticed how quickly my tongue started to heal. The first day and a half were I felt like my tongue was like this big, but as the week progressed, it made me very happy to know that my 61, almost 62-year-old physical body is in great shape. My immune system is in good shape. It also made me happy to know that I have tools that I know how to implement, and tools that I don't need to run to an emergency. I don't need to run to the doctor. I know how to use herbs and other things to help my body facilitate the healing process. So this has been kind of a theme for me in this year of really paying attention, not just to the outside world that I can look at and say, you're disruptive, you're rude, yes, you're this, but rather to look here and see, how much am I holding on to that over there? Because now maybe that over there isn't the problem. Maybe this over here is. I'm just saying. So, and I want to offer this for those. I just saw Stephen pop up saying my childhood was so messed up. I had a quite, what I would consider a messed up childhood as well. And, when you know about the laws of attraction and the teachings of Abraham, and how the soul, chooses a path, and we're here to make choices, to see our focus, and to see how our focus starts a momentum, and the momentum starts our manifestation. So Abraham will say, those of us that chose a accelerated childhood, meaning the more messed up it was, the more it provided contrast, the more it provided an opportunity for us to know what we want versus what we did not want. And so I've really come to the point where when I hear somebody want to address their inner child, or to heal their inner child, I get this sort of feeling of, ooh, I cringe a bit, because I think, oh my God, you're just going to irritate that inner child, because the inner child is really the happy part of you. It's the adult that's really having an issue. Children are happy by nature. Children play, children laugh, children dance when they hear music. They don't care who's looking. So I really want to offer this for an idea of, when you're looking at, your life and where do I want to go, and you may feel needing healing or needing balancing, what good will it do? Can you change what's happened in the past, or can you look forward and use that as an example of, that wasn't so much fun, so now I'm going to move this way. I think we'll go there. So that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with this. I want you to pay attention to your moons this week, or every week actually. Pay attention to your emotional body and ask yourself, how can I make that body feel better? Because the ripple effect of the emotional body will help your mind feel better, your physical body feel better, and everything else that came along with it. That's where I'm going with this. So I'm not going to throw out the ascendant or your sun, because they obviously are personal planets that have influence over you. But I really think if we where the rubber meets the road is in that emotional body. So using this time and the Aquarian logic and reason, and even, technology, to help you look to balance versus heal. Heal is an interesting word to me, because I know the body has to heal, but what is the body doing? It's coming back into balance from some sort of imbalance. So maybe if we shift those words, we shift a vibration as well. So we'll see. All right, let's go on to our readings as normal for Teri. I'm going to start with Pisces and work my way towards Aries. Crystalline, you thought you were just in time, but really you're way at the end there. I'm an Aries rising, and because of everybody always starting at Aries, I just had to flip the script a little bit. I have Uranus in Leo, and my sense of Libra balance wants to give everybody at the other end of the spectrum an opportunity to feel like they're first. Okay, and before I start, if you want to book a reading with me, you can go to the link in the description below. It'll take you to my page on Lotta's website. Don't be afraid to share the videos and hit the like button. We likies. Okay, here we go. Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And that rolls off my tongue like nobody's business, but I'm starting to think it's moon, rising, sun, and stelliums. I think the Sagittarius moon, Karma Police James, would really, really have a strong effect on how you operate as a Scorpio sun. Because, Scorpio gets this terrible rap for the stinger, but I think they're stingy because when they see the truth and then somebody tries to deny that truth, they're like, what? What? Don't be fooling with me. So that's what I think it is. And I think the stronger signs, or the signs that are more willing to get in your face, are the ones that don't get in your face just for the sake of it. They get in your face when they hear BS. That's what happens. So, yeah, Emir, Aries moon will be on the end, the last one. Yeah. Sorry. But we'll have timestamps and everything. If you can't stick around for the show, Juan graciously every week does that for us. And Small Wildflowers makes sure that the chat is full of love and cooperation and constructive opinions. All right, so here we go. We are going to start with our Pisces moon. Sun. I can't even say that. I can't even say it. Moon, rising, sun, and stelliums. All right, here we go. Our first angel is Archangel Uriel, Pisces. The second is Crystal. The third is Zannah. And the final is Isabella. So Archangel Uriel deals with frustration, anger, annoyance, and the lower spectrum of our emotional body. So what he wants to do is help you to refocus. That's the way I want to put it. So the first position, for those of you that may be new to the show, is the foundational position. So joining Archangel Uriel is the hawk. In the opportunity or the obstacle, which is the second position, Crystal's being joined by the frog. In the angel's advice, we have Zannah and the mystery card. And then in the final position, we have Isabella and the joy card. So Pisces, let's think about this. Right now, I didn't bring this up, but Jupiter, your ancient ruler, is in the last degrees of Pisces. And as Venus starts to move towards her little stint in Virgo, we're going to see an opposition between the two, which is not negative. But what I want, oppositions can feel negative, but with these two very friendly planets, I don't think so. The reason I bring this up for you is because if indeed you've been feeling hurt, frustrated, or angry, I think it's time to rise above the situation. And in some ways, I'm going to kind of call Pisces out because the situation may just not be right for you. It just may be a situation that you've been trying to put a square peg into a round hole and it's just not working. And I want to offer this too because it doesn't mean that you have to experience a loss here. And it may start to feel a little bit like a loss. I don't know why I want to put it that way. I guess because of the frustration and the anger may feel like the only next step is loss, breakup, the end. But I don't necessarily think so, because I think as you yourself shift your focus, this has been a running theme for me for, I don't know, it feels like months now, because what I've been doing is finding a lot of disruption around me. I mean, with all those Pluto aspects hitting my personal planets, I feel like everybody wants to frickin' fight with me and they trigger my warrior. And so my job is to be more conscious. It doesn't mean it's easy and it's fun. I mean, sometimes I'm like, argh! But my point is this: when you can rise above the situation, when you can look at it, you can see that there's a benefit to be there. There's a silver lining. There is something to be proud of yourself for. So because I say that, because Crystal is saying have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And the frog is about releasing emotional baggage. And while some people like myself and the Taurus moon don't release it easily, Pisces can swim away from it. Pisces can say, you know what, I don't need to be here anymore, because now you have a choice. That's what the angels are saying. You've been protected, and only thing that you Pisces get to do is sort of just look at the situation and say, you know what, I can't change that person. I can't change the dynamics of that job. I can't change my child. I can only guide them. So I'm going to sit in my highest vibration of seeing above the situation and how this frustration is actually working for me, because it is. Because here's the joy card, and Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. And this is where this last week, as I bit my tongue, I mean, literally, I can't even tell you how much it hurt. It was like instantaneous anguish. And at the same time, as the week progressed, I was so happy to see my body responding in such a favorable way to this upset or within my mouth, because then I thought, well, what other things can my body heal that I'm unaware of? Which made me even more inspired to put good things in my body. Kind of makes sense to me. So maybe your angers and your frustration is working for you. And when you rise above the situation, you'll feel a sense of empowerment from it. You'll feel like, oh, I get it. A few weeks ago, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I put up a privacy fence. And my whole thing was to focus on creating a peaceful dynamic on my patio because the outside world was disruptive. And I felt so proud of myself as I realized that I was literally calming down as I focused on the flowers and where did I want to put that planter and da-da-da-da-da. That's my double Venus, Taurus moon, and my Libra sun. So as you know your chart, look into your chart, Pisces. Look into how you can use the things that make you feel good. You know, Pisces rules the 12th house. Maybe you should take a nap. Maybe you should go to a spa and allow yourself, or meditation even. All of these things can bring you into a dynamic where you feel empowered by a situation that otherwise might have made you feel disempowered. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. This week, this is your moon, and I want to offer this too because this is a back-to-back Aquarius moon, offering revolution and liberation from what has felt oppressive and depressive. And I also really want to focus in on the idea that the 11th house has this hopes and desires attached to it, and it is a house of money. Money. So many of you may be liberated from money issues because your perspective, your emotional body, and that belief about money shifts. I remember during the pandemic, not that we're not still having one, but you know, my appointments were all remote. And I was used to having people come like, you know, in groups, and I don't see them in groups. I see them one-on-one. So when someone comes to see me in person, if you come with a friend or a couple of people, two of you go away while one of you sits here at the table with me. And then I kind of, you know, round robin you in. And this last week, one of the things, or the last 2 weeks, in the midst of all this disruption, I was getting groups of people booking and inquiring. We'd like to book 4 people for this day and 3 people for that day and 3 people for that day. So as my emotional body went through the disruption, then found my peace, didn't try to make sense of the disruption, but to focus on what makes me feel peaceful, I started to feel liberated. That's what's going on. This is this whole year, the Saturn-Uranus square, this blue moon situation with 2 full moons in Aquarius I can't even believe the first one is in the July during the sign of Cancer, what makes me feel at home. And then the next one's going to technically be in Leo, which is what makes me feel like me. Sounds good. Loving it. All right, here we go, Aquarius. Our first angel in the foundational position is Layla. The second is Archangel Uriel again. The third is Rochelle. And the final is Isabella. Well, that's interesting. 2 of the same cards. I have a hair stuck here somewhere and it's tickling my nose. I apologize. The thing about Pluto, as I look at George's comment, I saying Pluto's in his second house. It's in my 10th house, transiting my 10th house right now. And one of the things is I've been talking to a lot more dead people. You know, I didn't have to personally die, but dead people have been coming through. And that's something I've sort of avoided in the past. All right, Aquarius, joining Layla is the raven. Joining Archangel Uriel is the bee. Joining Rochelle is the water fairy. And joining Isabella is the forgiveness card. Okay. For Aquarius, I think spending time in meditation, I really feel like this is, when I look at the raven, I'm really drawn to the idea that the raven goes into a Plutonian energy. It goes into the underworld, and it excavates wherever there is imbalance. And wherever there is imbalance, there is an opportunity for you to see where you'd like balance to be implemented. So I really think this is a magical opportunity and a time. This also represents synchronistic events. And so as you walk into your meditations with spirit, I kind of want you to think of them as conversations, a give and take idea, not just trying to receive information from spirit, but rather allowing spirit to dark, allowing spirit to feel this sort of conversational dynamic. Because again, we have Archangel Uriel dealing with frustration and anger and unforgiveness. And then there's the bee. And the bee is my being energy. What do you believe? Because you can be liberated from some beliefs that no longer serve you. Beliefs that may be handed down to you from, unknowing people. When I was younger, my Aries moon was my Aries rising was very obvious to my father. He used to always say, "You're so argumentative. Why don't you be a lawyer when you grow up?" So I became to think I was an argumentative person. And what I realized is my dad has Neptune in the first house, was near his ascendant. And so my dad was sometimes too loosey-goosey for me, to be honest with you. It's like, look, let's do things the way they're supposed to be done. So my point is this. For Aquarius, your opportunity is to shift your beliefs and your being energy, and not to focus in on the anger anymore, but rather to focus in on the yearnings of your heart, your hopes and your desires, and to really sit in what do those feel like. And even, I want to say this, take a step towards them. If one of your hopes and desires is to meet your mate, then maybe it would be an opportunity for you as a Aquarius to start to think about, what would that mate be like? They would be someone who allows me to be me, somebody who would, enjoy my interesting and innovative conversations, somebody who is scientifically minded. I don't know. You'll have to figure out what that is for yourself, because in the final position, Aquarius, is the reconciliation card known as forgiveness. And yes, the timing is right for this new venture. This is Isabella again. Happiness awaits you when you embrace your individuality. When you think about this full moon being in your sign during the Cancer month, and then the second full moon in your sign in the Leo month is going to kind of delineate between your personal pack, your family, how do they view you, how do they think about you, and how you want to think about yourself. And I think the reconciliation could be is that the more you allow yourself to be yourself, whatever that may be, the more they may see you as a happier person and not rub up against it and try to contain you into being their version of you. That's what I think this is about. And I kind of want to say this too, because when I look at Aquarius, I think, I don't know if feeling alien is really such a bad thing, because sometimes if we look at the norm here on the planet and what humans are doing as a collective, I don't know. Maybe it's not up your alley, and that's okay. Just saying. All right, let's go on to Capricorn. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. This whole year of liberation really, while there may be some liberating forces that happen outside of ourselves, I really think this is all mostly happening on the inside. And I don't think that every liberation has to come through an act of war. I think it's more about healthy boundaries. I think it's sometimes the war happens more on the inside of us than the outside, because we're pack animals and we want people to celebrate our joys and our successes and our dreams and our hopes. And then sometimes they don't. So that's what we're being liberated from, I believe. All right, here we go. Whoop. On to our Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, Capricorn. Our first angel in the foundational position is Crystal. In the opportunity or the obstacle, we have Francesca. In the angel's advice, we have Isaiah. And in the final position, we have Indriel. Ooh, gummy bears. Yum. I found the greatest pretzels. Nut-free, grain-free, soy-free, everything free. It sounds like they would taste terrible. They're fabulous. I found them. What are they called? I'll have to think about it. I've been trying to eat more good foods because I found my last physical crash was over dairy. Okay, Capricorn. Crystal is being joined by the partnership card. Francesca is being joined by the novice. Isaiah is being joined by the queen. And Indriel is being joined by the stag. Okay. My Capricorns, my hard-working Capricorns. I really want you all to get a picture of a baby goat. It's time to adopt the baby goat's joy and lightheartedness versus the adult goat, which tends to get the cranky bad rap. So this is where I'm going, because Capricorn, as we enter into Leo season, and we've just had Venus and Mars hanging out in Leo together, lots of people may be feeling, I'm ready for partnership. I'm ready to enjoy the alignment of another person on this planet. And, you know, with being a Capricorn, you may tend to look at your outside world and say, well, I don't see anything, nothing there, ain't gonna happen. And now it's time to step out of that. It's time to start to muse about if indeed you were in a partnership, how would it feel? Because, you know, Capricorn is going to want to have a partnership where they get to be leader, or at least have a bit of their voice, their leadership acknowledged within the relationship. But more so, what I think is that Capricorn has sort of gone into a place where, oh, maybe I'll be by myself. I'm not sure. Because now is a time to, this is the novice. This is skill without practice. And that skill without practice is visualizing something you can't see. Visualizing how it would feel to be in the partnership that works for you versus how you would think about it. This is going to be a little bit difficult for Capricorn being an earth sign. You'll be like, well, I'm walking on the planet. Where is it? I don't see evidence of it. And this is where the laws of attraction come in, because the angels are saying now is a time to receive. It's time to start to give birth to new ideas and new situations where you actually receive. And when I look at this woman being comforted by this angel, you can see here in the corner, she's pregnant. I don't think this has to do with actually giving birth to a child at this point, even though these are both fertility cards. This is about the fertility of your own visualization, and then your ability to internalize that visualization, your ability to put it in your emotional body, but not in a way that sits from the Capricorn fear, but rather the Capricorn faith. I have the tenacity to know that if I could dream it, I can experience it here on this planet. And Capricorn wants partnership. And I want to offer this for those of you that are married or already in a partnership. Then the story you've been telling yourself about the partnership, it's time to rewrite that story. And in broad strokes, we enjoy each other's company. We laugh easily together. Our finances are abundant together. It's time to start to write a new story. These are going to be theoretical tools that you have, and you will bounce back and forth between feeling like, oh, I don't know, I don't see any evidence of my work, I don't see anything, and then kicking back into the faith. Saturn rules Aquarius, so on some by proxy, by like second degree cousin, this can be your full moon, blue moon season, where you illuminate what isn't working for you. And what isn't working is hard work. I have to work hard to make it happen, because it isn't. It's about receiving. It's all about receiving and your ability to believe that you can receive. So here we have Indriel, the light worker, and we have the stag. So for Capricorn, this is about an illumination where you have been prideful in, if I can't see it, it's not going to happen. No, it's going to happen. And the part of you that will kick in that law of attraction, that manifestation, is your willingness to go into your emotional body and allow that to feel abundant. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to my Sagittariuses. The truth piss with the mad face. What is going on here in this room today is I am Teri Hunter. I am giving the angels advice for traversing the transits of the coming week, astrological transits. We are focused in on the full moon in Aquarius this week, which is happening towards the end of the week, the 23rd or the 24th, depending on where you are in the world. It is the first of 2 full moons in Aquarius back to back. That's why I'm talking about our emotional bodies so much. I hope that answered your question. All right, we're going on to Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm so glad, Tamika. I'm really glad. I love my Capricorns. I have Venus at the Capricorn degree in Virgo, and all of my significant love relationships have been men who were Capricorns and had that leadership quality. But I also have a strong leadership quality, which is why they are exes and not present. I need to find sort of a in between. All right, here we go. Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I'm really focusing in on the moon, guys, because the moon is about our emotional body. And if you think about how you walk around, look, the truth piss, that person inadvertently declares they're going to be pissed off all the time because that's in their name. And they say it over and over again. So rather than focusing in on being angry, let's focus in on being peaceful. It's very Sagittarian. All right, our first angel is Seraphina. The second is Crystal. Wow, Crystal's coming out every time. In our angel's advice, we have Desiree, and then we have Chantal, the angel of romance. See how the emotional body really kind of sends this ripple effect? Because this person came into the room, which you're more than welcome to be here. I don't think you've been disruptive at all. I mean, yeah, you seem a little bit with the mad face all the time, but you're not being disruptive. But it is having a ripple effect on the show. And it's affecting people's emotional bodies, which then has a ripple effect. So I want all of us to just be peaceful. We don't need to address if this person wants to be mad all the time. They named themselves mad. Oh, all right. Fern Farmer. How do I find if I have a stellium? You have 3 is a light stellium, 4 or more planets in one house or sign. That is a stellium. All right. Sagittarius. Joining Seraphina in the foundational position is the owl. Joining Crystal in the opportunity or the obstacle is the raven. Joining Desiree in the Angel's Advice is the Wealth card. And then joining Chantal is the Swan. Well, the first thing I want to say to my Sagittarius is it looks to me like we could have a little bit of shifting in our relationships. And I want to say it this way, in a happy way, because we have Serafina offering us a change to our family. This could be a new baby coming. This could be a change in location. It could be a change in status of your relationship. And there's the owl. Whenever, the owl's the good news, bad news. It's being able to see, we all get excited with the idea of getting married, right? Joining a partner. And yet it's a lifetime of compromise. When I wake up in the morning, there's no compromise. I go where I want to go, when I want to go. So I think that's where the owl is coming in, because when I look at this for my Sagittarius, you're very free thinking. You're very, you may travel, you may get a big travel bug this particular week, wanting to go places, but more so than not, I think there's the potential of a change in status in the family. It may not be your intimate family, it may be your children, it may be your sister, your brother, but there's a change coming. And I want to offer it this way because, well, I want to say it this way because while I said it's around your family, it definitely feels like it has to do with romance and love for me. And so if it's not happening to you directly, then there's going to be an example for you to step into. That's what I'm going to say. Meaning if your brother or sister gets engaged, somebody announces a baby and you're like, oh, that's so nice. I wish that would happen to me. Start thinking, I wish it would happen to me. Say thank you for it happening to me, because now we're going into the opportunity or the obstacle. So Sagittarius, there's a change in your family. And this is a change I think you may want. You may want to experience. Because Crystal says have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. Now the Raven is talking about timing. And this timing isn't just your timing. It's the timing of all the cooperative components that join together for your manifestation, because conditions have not been favorable up until now, but they will be favorable if you allow the universe to move things around for you. Sometimes we get this idea, oh, I want to start to date. I think I'll go on Bumble. Or I want this and I'm going to go do that. I want to offer this for Sagittarius that rules our beliefs and rules the connection to the angelic realm. It rules the more broader questions that we ask ourselves. So now, as you ask yourself, what would make me happy? What would make me happy in the way of partnership? Because now something is happening in your partnership. There is a revitalization in a current relationship, and or there's going to be a new opportunity coming. And in some ways, this will feel very fated to you. It will feel like, oh, now I understand why the timing has been so off, or why things didn't seem to happen. Part of it was the other person was growing towards me, was aligning to me and to my thoughts. And if they weren't going to think like me, they weren't going to interrupt me. Because I really do think that there is a wisdom that the owl will offer you as you see, oh, I get why this didn't happen at this point. I had cats my whole life, and I now have a dog, and my dog is super emotional. My cats were emotional, but my dog is super emotional. So when the upset with the neighbor happened that I mentioned earlier, he started to shake. I didn't yell or anything, but I did pound on the ceiling a couple times. And just my frustration when I pounded on the ceiling sent the dog into being scared. And I realized I had to calm my emotional body down to get him to be balanced again. So the way I'm saying this is because there's a part of Sagittarius that has grown in your beliefs and grown in who and what you are. And as you allow for that, then Spirit, it can then bring in a partner that's aligned to your long-term happiness, not short-term. That's where I'm going. Okay, let's go on to our Scorpios, our little detectives. I say that because Pluto sees everything. Small planet, big heart. All right, here we go. Scorpio, we're going to start with the moon. If you're a Scorpio moon, you're a savory lover. You like to love richly and deeply, and you are determined. Welcome, Crystal from New Zealand. Oh my goodness, 6:40 in the morning. You're so gracious to get up so early. Okay. Now, as I say this, I really want to go back to the idea to remember that Aquarius rules our hopes and our dreams. You know, we think of the science, we think of the aliens, we think of the technology, we think of logic, we think of philanthropic endeavors in humanity, but it also rules our money and it rules our hopes and desires. So let's see what Scorpio has for that. Ooh, Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio. Ooh la la. All right, here we go. Our first angel is Desiree. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Archangel Michael. And the final is Archangel Raphael. Wow. That's a large team around you this week during this moon. This moon that is also this moon is in tandem with the moon, the full moon in Aquarius. It's going to happen in August. So something over this month is going to very much illuminate something and make us aware of something. And could very much make you aware that some of your heart's desires aren't really your heart's desires, but things you think you wanted because other people thought they were a good idea. Okay, Desiree and the burden join each other. Archangel Gabriel and the communication card join each other. Archangel Michael and the bee. Archangel Raphael and the movement card. Okay. For my Scorpios, the first thing I want to say is that while you're not known for moving quickly, I mean, it's not something we think of Mercury when we think of moving quickly. I want to say this, when Scorpio sees the truth or sees something, then they know it to the depths of their soul. And you kind of can't, well, they're a fixed sign. You can't shift them off of that. So I want to offer this because you may be sitting in an energy of being very anxious to move the story forward. And Desiree is saying conditions have not been favorable. And you've literally been feeling the burden of this. And I want to offer it this way because, you know, when I look at the genre of this particular spread, I think it has more to do with the way Scorpio is processing versus it actually being about your love life or being about your work. Because Archangel Gabriel is asking you to turn over any insecurities you have to her so that she can help transform them. And then we have the communications card. And the Archangel Michael and the bee card are being joined together, which is about having the courage to be who and what you are and to trust that. It's also about good luck and protection. So then we have Archangel Raphael, which is the healer, and the movement card. So this is what I want to say. I had a client years ago. She was a Scorpio and she's an athlete. And this all happened right before the pandemic. She had been in a competition. She did well in the competition and it led to an opportunity. The opportunity dragged out for a long time, but on the depths of her soul, she knew that that opportunity was right in alignment with her wants and desires. So part of her job was to stay in the communication of it, in her mind, to allow her thoughts and her emotional body to stay aligned to the outcome, not the journey. Because I think that's where the courage and the protection is coming in. I think something is actually happening for Scorpio, but it hasn't started yet. Or if it is started, it is in such infancy stages that you're anxious to move the story forward. And it's starting to get you a little bit, I think your sight is clearer than others. So you're wanting to move the story forward and there's block after block. Don't freak out because pretty soon the movement is coming. And then you'll see the wisdom of why it took so long. That it'll actually be a better version of what it was that you wanted to take place. So, you know, sometimes when we desire something, we go, oh, I want to do this right now. And then if you do it right now, it's not actually, the ground is not as fertile as it would be if you'd given it a minute. Or the components that come together are not as supportive as they would be if you'd given a minute. So that's what I think is going on. So as this full moon comes into place this week, I think that Scorpio has an opportunity to look where your focus has been, where you may have been fixed on the challenge versus the opportunity that's coming. And your job at this moment is to sort of say, well, maybe it's not about me right now. Maybe I have all my ducks in a row, and now I'm waiting for the other ducks to get their chickies in a row. All right, let's go on to Libra. We forget about that a lot when we're trying to manifest something, especially when I have females here and they're looking for their life partner and they're like, I've been doing the work. I've been doing the secret. And I'm like, yeah, but the other person has to do something too, you know? It's kind of funny sometimes. All right, here we go. Libra, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Being a Libra sun, I have to tell you, I laugh a little bit because I'm not wishy-washy in my opinion. I'm not indecisive ever. Rarely, maybe about food occasionally, and then I just order too much. But my Aries and my Taurus is so strong. And this is why, as I've been doing this work more and more, and my intuition kicks in, I kind of rewriting these things a little bit for myself. I think everything evolves, even the planets. All right, Libra, our first angel is Ray. In the opportunity, the obstacle is Caressa. In the angel's advice is Isaiah. And in the final is Indriel, the light worker. Katerina, this is your moon. Hi, Max. Good to see you. Welcome back. Okay. Ray is being joined by the Queen. Caressa is being joined by the Wind Fairy. Isaiah is being joined by the Mystery card. And Indriel is being joined by the Joy card. All right. So this is me. My connection to spirit. When I look at Ray, I always see this as a meditation. It talks about yoga and exercise, but I really think of it as connecting with spirit. It's where my power comes from. We see that evidenced by the yellow coming from her third eye. Then we have the green and the blue, which represent the heart and the throat, heart chakra and the throat chakra. And here's the Queen. The Queen is about reception. So both these energies are calm and receptive, and yet very intentional in what it is they want to experience, and willing to see that my participation as a Libra is to sit in balance of my reception of that. Because what's going on in the opportunity, the obstacle is your mind. And I spoke earlier of how my mind is branded with a certain way of being. And even when peace is being offered to me, sometimes I'm so busy being incensed by the injustice that I swim around in the injustice instead of being in the justice. So Caressa says, Libra, you're at the end of a life cycle. New happiness is being offered to you as you walk through this period of transformation in the way you think and you're processing things. Because sometimes I think Libra tries so hard to be fair that they don't even put themselves in the equation to be fair. So here's Isaiah. Again, this is a card of reception. I know we're giving birth to new things, but in order for this angel to be able to do his job, we have to be receptive and know that we're being supported as we go through this gestation period. And that is our choice. That is why, throughout all of these things we talk about, all the spiritual tools we have, the thing we have that we can always count on is our choice. Our choice to believe, our choice to move or to not move. And that is the beauty of the human experience and why I believe we have multiple lives. So in the final position, my Libras, is you taking your rightful place and having the epiphany that joy is how you're going to help this universe be more balanced. And in doing so, you stand as a light worker. So this week, you stand very much in connection with or in concert with your connection to spirit. And you have an opportunity to stand in many ways as the diplomat for those around you when you don't allow yourself to get into the lunacy of what a full moon can do. So I kind of want to offer it in such a way that even if you see disruption, if you experience, alarming things on the news that create imbalance within yourself, think of it, give yourself permission to go on a media diet and allow yourself to focus in on being an agent of peace and of harmony. And I think that will have a ripple effect. And I do think that there is a sense of calming your mind down a little bit. It's almost as if Libra is going from thinking maybe that I always have to be the balancer. Maybe part of that being the balancer is taking care of you and not being the balancer for others. Okay. Here we go. On to our Virgos. I'm sorry, are there fires going on? I did not know there are fires going on. What did I miss? Pardon me while I scroll up a little bit. Are we having fires again? I didn't see any fires. I was watching Star Wars again yesterday. I watched another episode of Star Wars. Oh, yeah, these fires. Oregon's on fire again too. Oh my goodness. Let's pray for rain. It was actually lightning here earlier. Oh my goodness. All right. All over Arizona and California. All right. Let's pray for all the animals. I was watching last year when they talked about the Australian fires, and I know so many of our audience are from Australia. It's so weird when it's in your head, and then there's the reality of it. And I watch, crikey, it's the Irwins. And they showed this whole episode of the devastation. Over 1 billion animals lost their lives. I literally cried. It was so awful. So I don't know what to say. Well, we can't do anything. What we can do is be a light within our own communities. Try to be that piece of happiness for ourselves that radiates out. Sometimes when we look at these events that are going on around the world, we can get so caught up in them and so saddened by them that we get caught up in that sad vibration. And this is where believing that life goes on, knowing that, to me, those souls of those animals had an opportunity to leave before the body was incinerated. So they would all be flying up to spirit, and then their physical bodies would go through the process. So as we honor that dynamic and then say, so now I'm going to try to be, one of those people that says, hi, good morning. Hey, how you doing? Just that's all. Okay, here we go, Virgo. Our first angel is Oceana. The second is Akasha. The third is Mystique. And the final is Chantal. As we go into Leo season, and Mars and Venus were just doing a dance here in Leo. And they're still hanging out. They're not that far apart from each other. I think they're like at 23 and 25 degrees. So there could be a lot of babies made this month. And babies get made through fun, not through trying so hard. That's what I'm saying if you want to. Okay. Here we go. Virgo, Oceana is being joined by the Letting Go card. Akasha is being joined by the Truth card. Mystique is being joined by the Hawk. And Chantal is being joined by the perception card. For those of you that that listen to my show often, you know the letting go card is not about letting anything go. It's the song Let It Go from the movie Frozen. So here, it's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled us can't get to us at all. Yes, Venus is leaving Leo and going into Virgo. I know that, Brandon. Thank you. Sorry. I'm sorry if I mess up. Okay. Oceana, Virgo, now is a time to really start to connect with your emotional body and just notice what it is you're feeling and what you're thinking, and not put any holes or any bars on it. Let all the bars off the holes and just allow yourself to muse about these things. Because I was listening to Stormy Grace this morning, I think it was, and she was talking about Venus in Virgo. And one of the higher vibrations of Venus in Virgo is being of service to others in Venusian ways. So I feel like this is about Virgo being of service to Virgo and allowing your own dreams and desires to start to float up, and spend some time enjoying them. You know, if you like to do the crossword puzzle, do the crossword puzzle. You can do your laundry later. That's just what I'm saying, because Akasha is the spiritual teacher. And I think that this is about Virgo not necessarily being a teacher for others, but knowing the truth of what teaching means, what it means to, my mom used to do this, do as I say, not as I do. She used to say that to me all the time. And I thought to myself, that's bullshit. I'm not, if you don't have to do it, why do I have to do it? She was constantly putting these ridiculous parameters on me and then not putting them on herself. And it really annoyed me. So this is where I'm going with this, because maybe the teacher in you knows that the truth lies in letting go and allowing yourself to go into your emotional body and what's important to you, what you love, what you like to do. Because Mystique in the Angel's Advice is saying to keep charging ahead and keep your eyes on the prize. Don't get caught up in the minutia. Don't get caught up in the details. You're going to be most effective when you keep your sight high. Because at the end of the day, I really think that this is about what you love, Virgo. I don't know if I think this is about intimate love right now, but I do think it's about your perception about the things that you love. And if your perception is, oh, I'd really just love to do my diamond art today, and I don't want to have to make dinner or do the dishes, but I'm a Virgo, so I'm not going to do my diamond art today. I'm going to do the dishes and do my laundry and get caught up on emails for work tomorrow, because I have to work on Monday, and my boss, who never gives me a raise, is going to expect me to have worked on Sunday when he doesn't pay me. Virgo, no more. Let this moon illuminate you. Let this moon let you go into those places. It's your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your days off. Enjoy your life. When we're young, life feels really long. And as you get older, you realize how precious time is. And when you say, I'm going to give you my time, you're really giving them a big commodity. So now I think this is about Virgo, letting this Aquarius full moon illuminate where you have been binding yourself to a dynamic that doesn't serve you, and then allowing trivial, frivolous behaviors to be sort of dominant. And I want to put it this way, because your weekend is your weekend. So maybe you could do your laundry Monday night, and today you can just go take a walk or a nap or play or do the crossword, whatever brings you fun. Because I think this is going to start being a little bit, oh, I forgot about you, Small. Wasn't trying to call you out. But see, look, she runs to Costco, to the craziest place on earth, before having to be on the show, having to do this. And if that's fun for you, fabulous. Enjoy it. But just make sure you're having fun, Virgo. That's what I want to say. All right, let's go on to our Leos. Leo, 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 Leo. I'm just singing a lot lately. I keep thinking my voice is getting better. I don't know why. And the weirdest songs come into my head. I don't even know why. Like random. I put them into my own head. All right, here we go. Like I had this song, We Built This City on Rock and Roll, stuck in my head yesterday. And I don't even know all the words to the song. It just goes over and over. We built this city. And I just go, okay. All right, anyway, enough is enough. I don't want to put those in your head. All right. Leo, moon, rising, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Indriel, the light worker. The second is Vanessa. The third is Zannah. And the final is Grace and Antoinette. I'm literally scared of Costco. I don't know if they still do it. They probably don't with the COVID, but they used to have these ladies with these little plastic things on their hair and these little plastic gloves. And try this. And I live alone, okay? And I'd end up with like 12 pounds of chicken wings or something crazy. I don't even know what I would buy. They would always get me to buy whatever it was. And it always tasted better in Costco than it did when I got home. I have no idea of any of that. All right, here we go. Indriel is being joined by the love card, my Leos. Vanessa is being joined by the swan. Zannah is being joined by the protection card. And Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the risk card. Okay. So Leo is the sign of romance. Leo is the sign of personal creativity. And the sun rules the whole zodiac. So for my Leos, Indriel, the light worker, I can't help but see this glowing light above her head. Her arms are out. She's receiving love and she is giving love. And that's what I think this is about for our Leos this week. I think this is the exchange of love and all the colors in the rainbow of love. Not just intimate love, but love of all sorts of things, because that's what the fifth house represents. It represents children, it represents hobbies, and just what I was talking about. So, because I feel like this idea of fun, the idea of enjoyment and entertainment, I don't care if you want to sit and watch movies all day and binge watch a season of Grey's Anatomy, because where I'm going is it's time for everybody, but for Leo this week, to have faith in your intuitive gifts. And I want to offer it this way, because I feel like Leo has started to see signs and omens, even though the swan is about transformation. I feel like Leo has been starting to get these inklings. And the inklings are that if I can imagine it, if I can feel it in my mind's eye, if I can play with it in my heart chakra, I think I can build it. I think I can make it happen here. And I think that's very true, because Leo's quite a brave sign. I mean, if you think about it, yes, the lion rules king of the beasts, but we don't really think of the sun as going into battle. We think of Aries going into battle. So I think that the sun in this moment, Leo, is here to have epiphanies about everything that they love, and then allow their faith in that to spread their wings. This is the way I see it, and transform them, because we've got double protection here. And I want to offer this to you. If your love is to be an actress or a singer or a painter or anything, be a financier, be a wine person, I don't care what it is, be an astrologer, starting to play with that, starting to muse about those things, and having compassion for a journey. Anything we want to manifest is a journey of some kind. And thank God it is a journey, because if we manifested like this, we wouldn't necessarily be able to take it in. We would think, oh no, it's not going to last. Am I strong enough for it? Blah, 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 whatever the story is. because in the final position is the card of compassion and the risk card. And this does not feel like compassion for others, but compassion for myself. Compassion for myself as a risk taker, as a person who claims what it is I love and what I want and what I require to feel whole and complete on this planet. So that's what I'm going to say. Leo, I feel like encapsulating, this is a week that's going to illuminate things that you love. In some ways, it's going to compel you to want to step forward faithfully on that intuition. And then in doing so, you're going to feel a sense of protection from the universe. Because as the gates start to open, as phone calls come in or as emails arrive, or you query something and then you find what you're looking for, those are the signs and the omens that allow spirit to lead you to where you want to go. So that's what I'm going. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Karma Police James, God bless you. People may be appearing to breed, but the soul chooses its parents. It's more about the soul and the child than it is about the parent. The parent's job is to be a guide, from what I've been told and what I've witnessed. And so when a parent, when people start trying to have children, it becomes a resistant energy. So I don't know. Here we go. On to our Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. People are having so many children. That's the thing that kind of freaks me out. People are having like 20 kids. Lots of people are having 20 kids. I'm glad I didn't have any. Not that I wouldn't want to have children. I love children. I'm just glad I'm part of the balancing act. All right, bonus Jen, it's your turn right now. Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Patience. The second is Layla. The third is Rochelle. And the final is Oceana. Space for the soul. I believe that there is a soul's contract between the parent and the child, even before the child is born. There's a kind of like, it's almost kind of like, I'm trying to give it a human metaphor, but it's kind of like planning out a season on a sitcom, you know? I mean, you may not, you may be like, my sister has Uranus and Leo too, and she had 3 children. So just because I have Uranus and Leo doesn't mean I won't have children. I just knew from a very young age I would not be a mother in this lifetime. I didn't want to be a mother. So for me, when I talk about children and the parents, there's a cooperative relationship. The parents have something that they learn from the child or remember about themselves, and the parents bring a dynamic to the soul as their child that offers them the landscape for their soul's evolution. And all the other people, there's all sorts of parts that people play. It's so layered, it's almost impossible to try to explain. All right. Cancer, joining the Patience card is letting go card. I apologize for interrupting. Joining Layla is the Death card. Joining Rochelle is the Baird. And joining Oceana is the Risk card. Okay, this is super, super great. Because for me, Cancer is an energy that is so nurturing and so loving to others that sometimes they inadvertently don't take care of themselves. And I feel like one of the things that's so important for them to realize is that taking care of themselves is taking care of other people. So in the foundational position for my Cancers, we have the letting go card. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. This is really about doing things your own way. And then we have the Patience card. Now is a time to learn, study, and gather information. And I say this is because I don't think it comes naturally to Cancer to put themselves first. Of course, there's always aspects that can dumb down the nurturing qualities of Cancer. But I also think that there is a little bit of imbalance that Cancer can perpetrate inadvertently because the crab crawls like this. Right? So now we have this transformation this transformation where Cancer starts to realize, if I put myself first, it isn't selfish. It's actually selfless, because inadvertently I'm allowing other people to make their wants and desires important as well. So here's Layla talking to God and the angels about this very transformation, because Cancer, it's time to allow Rochelle to be the dominant energy coming from your heart and to start to write a new story. Because if you look into your history, most of humans' history is based on somebody else's history. If you look at how, there's these little sayings like, oh, if you're not careful, you'll turn into your mother. And then you find yourself saying things like, suffer, it builds character. Oh my God, I'm acting like my mother. The reason I say all this is because it isn't about your mother being good or bad, but it's more about Cancer discerning what qualities they want for themselves, whether those have been given to them by someone else, or what qualities they want to delineate, new qualities. It's not about this. It's sort of about, if I take care of me, I am taking care of my family. I am taking care of my property. I am taking care of business. So we have Oceana. What does Cancer represent? Water, the oceans. And there's the risk card. Because for me, this is about taking risk in what I love, swimming through my emotional body to where my soul's purpose is. And my soul's purpose is to make choices that are aligned to the experiences I want to have. So if you think about mothering and you're a Cancer, do you have the concept that you're just giving and never getting anything back? That would be a little weird. I think it's important for a Cancer mom or a Cancer dad to sit down and have a hot meal. I think it's important for a Cancer mom and a Cancer dad to allow themselves to have wants and desires that go beyond just home and hearth, so that their children, as they endeavor their dreams, don't somehow get a weird reverb that they need to make the family happy. There's these like little subtle hues. So where I'm going with this is, I believe the Aquarius full moon at the end of this week will illuminate things that are out of balance a bit and liberate you from them, and not in a way that has to judge them as being bad, but rather just a piece of information that allows for a new choice. All right, let's go on to our Geminis. Okay. Gemini, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Bridget. The second is Layla. The third is Caressa. And the final is Serafina. I didn't talk too much about it, but there is an aspect between Mercury and Neptune coming up this week. It's not a harsh aspect. I think it's a sextile. No, I'm sorry. Mercury and Uranus. I didn't mean Neptune. Sorry. I'm bringing this up now because pieces of information may come up that seem shocking or strange, or validations. They could even be validations. I knew that, but it wasn't, nobody was talking about it, kind of thing. Because I feel like as pieces of information come up, it's going to be important for Gemini to pay attention to how they process. So Bridget is being joined by the High Priestess. Layla is being joined by the Protection card. Caressa is being joined by the Restriction card. And Serafina is being joined by the Grail Knight. I'm going to do a clarification card on the Grail Knight because I feel like it's illusion. It is illusion. Okay. So Bridget is saying to look deeper into a situation, and there's the High Priestess. I actually think this is looking deeper into your intuitions Gemini. You know, you're ruled by Mercury. You're the sign of the twins. You can go a little bit back and forth. And I feel like on some level this week, this full moon is going to illuminate how much stronger your intuition is than your mind. And I say your intuition because that inner knowing, that gut instinct, there's going to be a validation of it somehow this week. Because as you sit with and you speak to spirit about what's important to you and what you want, and I want to say this feels emotional to me. It doesn't feel like it's like, oh, I want a new job, I want a new boyfriend. And maybe those things do affect your emotional body, but this is, I want to feel complete. I want to feel validated. I want to feel valued. I want to feel loved, because there's the protection card. And I think it's a little bit of a time for you. You know, sometimes I think that Gemini can talk themselves out of what their needs are, because they go like Libra to the dual aspect of it, the number 2. And I feel like it's super important. Even the High Priestess is the number 2, to get into a stronger relationship with your intuition and what your desires are on a emotional and spiritual level. Because you are being offered protection as you come to the end of a cycle. And I want to offer it this way, because the end of a cycle does not feel like I'm losing my job or my relationship is breaking up or anything that a full moon ends things, but it does feel like the ending of illusion. The ending of, this is the illusion. It's something like, you know, I've told my boyfriend 100 times that I really just don't like vanilla ice cream. I hate vanilla ice cream. I wish he would bring chocolate, but he always brings vanilla. So instead of expecting him to bring chocolate, and remember, you just change your mind and go, okay, I'm going to bring vanilla. I'm going to bring chocolate. He can bring the vanilla. Because this is where I'm going with this. There's something that's going on in Gemini's everyday world that's going to be revealed. And it's something annoying. It's something that feels like it's been a problem and it's been ignored. But now it's time to clean it up, because we're going to start to feel this happy change coming to our family, because the illusion has finally been addressed and reconciled. And I feel like it's a little bit on Gemini's shoulders to maybe rewrite their expectations a little bit. I think I've told you guys that I have a real issue with lateness. I try to be on time all the time. And so when somebody says to me, oh, I'm right around the corner, I'll be there in a minute. If I'm in the house, I go out onto the street. I don't want to wait for 15 minutes on the street. That'll piss me off like nobody's business. So I'm saying this example because intuitively I know when someone's blowing smoke up my skirt. And I think that so does Gemini. So now it's a little bit about not setting the other person up inadvertently for a fall, but rather knowing that people's habits don't change that much and giving yourself permission to shift. So you don't have to be aggro. And there you'll have more fun. All right, let's go on to our Tauruses. Finally, my personal signs, my moon and my ascendant. Okay. I use vanilla a lot as a description because vanilla tastes good, but it just needs something. You know, it's a little something. All right, Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Zannah, the angel of protection. Then there's Seraphina, the angel of happy families. There's Azure and Rochelle. I didn't know you're from Toronto, Brandon. I had so many good friends from Toronto. I mean, not to say anything about the rest of the world, but I've met so many nice Canadians in my life. I don't think I've ever met somebody who was mean once. Okay. Zannah is being joined by the Wasp. Seraphina is being joined by the Movement card. Azure is being joined by the Swan. And Rochelle's being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Okay, so you guys, I have to laugh because I don't know if you're still here from the beginning, but in the beginning, I told this story about my neighbor being disruptive and how annoyed I got. I mean, literally, the wasp. I was so pissed off. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, hello? This is the thing. The whole time I was pissed off, I kept asking myself, did I want to be Darth Vader or did I want to be Luke Skywalker? Because I felt like a little bit of both. So Taurus, you may feel a little bit Darth Vader-ish this week, but you'll be protected from it. And so as you recognize that, not everybody shows up consistently. Not everybody does what they say they're going to do. Not everybody is going to make you happy. That's kind of where I'm going with this, because in the opportunity of the obstacle, we have the movement card and we have a happy change to the family. But I got to tell you, I don't think this is outside of yourself. I think this is inside of yourself. I think the movement and the happy change comes is because you have had epiphany and start trusting your intuitive body. If I show up like a Jedi warrior, then I'll get Jedi warrior results. And if I show up like a stormtrooper, I'm going to get stormtrooper results. Because Azure says your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith and don't try to force it. And force is with you. This is what I think the swan is talking about, going from the ugly duckling to the swan. So this week, this guy upstairs is all sorts of shady, okay? I mean, I'm not even going to tell you. Maybe some people would think I'm mean, but I'm not saying his name and nobody knows him, so I'm not really throwing him under the bus. I'm just telling you, he does things and he cuts corners. I don't cut corners. When I get a dog, I tell the landlord I have a dog so that I don't get into trouble. That's my Saturn in Capricorn. My point is this. I was mad because somebody wasn't following the rules, but my job is I'm not the rule police. My job is to be happy, okay? So I was protected from my own anger, and it actually made my home happier this week when I was aware that I was responsible for what was happening in my home. And so as I paid attention, Spirit started to bring more peace. My job was to recognize that peace. And in doing so, start to honor my heart and have the bravery to see where I get interrupted, where I become, this is a storm in my mind. This is a storm in my physical body. This is me holding the sword of truth. And the truth is there can't be a war if I don't participate. So I think Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums are being protected from their own bullish, stubborn tendencies, being a fixed sign. And I can say it because I'm a Taurus moon. And I think that there's an illumination that's going to happen as a result of this full moon in Aquarius, where you're going to see yourself liberated from old thoughts and old dynamics that put you into that more challenged Taurus energy. And now the tenacity that you have to stand in your own light will start to work for you, meaning that you're going to start differentiating between, is this really my problem to solve, or is this somebody else's problem to solve? If I turn my attention away from it, will I be happier? Because if I turn my attention away from it, it could disappear. Sometimes we think if we don't pay attention to something, it won't get addressed. And this week with the disruption, when he went away, stayed somewhere else, I guess with the girl or whatever. But what I realized was that I was still sitting in this even after he was gone. And so whose fault was it? My disruption. It was mine. So then I moved into a happier place because then I could take ownership of who and what I am. And my desired outcome did happen. And now I know the difference. In an emotional storm, it is my job to have the courage to follow my heart, not my anger. Because anger can justify you into war. All right. Final sign, Aries. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go. It's amazing to me, these stars. I have to tell you, I'm really glad I did not study astrology to any great lengths when I was growing up, because if I knew how much Pluto was going to conjunct every single one of my planets before it started the squares that I'm living now, I would have freaked out. I would have thought I was going to die. But I didn't. This whole job, I'm pretty sure this whole lifetime is about transformation for me. I decided I wanted to transform whatever nasty I had in a past life. I have a South Node in Aries as well. So I'm pretty sure I was an imprisoned warrior who probably killed people a little bit in anger, I think. I don't know. But because I've always been afraid of prisons and hospitals and doctors and 12th house type matters. So my point now is that as I recognize this, I can use this as a master class. Instead of being reactionary to these dynamics, I can choose. All right, here we go. We're going on to our Aries, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Layla. The second is Bridget. The third is Serena. And the final is Teresa. Layla is being joined by the Fear card. Bridget's being joined by the High Priestess. Serena's being joined by the Cow. And Teresa's being joined by the Love card. Aries wants to just move, move, move. I always think of Aries as the Knight of Swords when I look at the tarot deck, because that guy is just charging through on his steed. And I feel like when I look at Layla and I look at the Fear card here, I feel like the first thing that Aries gets to do is spend some time and really delineate whether or not your fears are relevant to this moment or if there's some sort of projection. Oftentimes fear is a projection in my experience. It's the musings and imagination of what could happen, not what is happening. So I think that this is something that's going to be important, because on some level, I feel like Aries may be inadvertently gearing up for things to be disruptive. And in doing so, you don't want to kick in those laws of attraction, because Bridget is showing me here that something is happening at a much deeper level, and it's lining up with something you want. And so if there's no movement in some areas, don't freak out, because the universe is aligning things for you. And it may be aligning things for you in a way that you're like, I can't believe I didn't even have to try very hard. That just showed up for me. Because in the angel's advice is Serena, the angel of abundance, and the Cow. This is asking and receiving. This is nourishment. This is ease of movement. And this is where Aries may be getting in their own way, because Aries is action oriented, and Aries gets to learn that sometimes no action is action. Because what we want to do is learn to take guided action. And I really think on some crazy level, Teresa is usually a card of worry for me, but I feel like this is about moving into a place of really starting to trust my team on the other side and doing it through love. I'm focused on these two cards because I feel like I'm talking to spirit about my trepidations. Life isn't moving fast. I'm not getting where I want to go. I haven't met my person. I haven't had my kids, blah, blah, whatever your I haven't story is. And now is the time to really see false evidence appearing real. And knowing, one of the things about me being an Aries rising and having now being 61 and a half years old is that I don't know if I would have been a good partner when I was still full of piss and vinegar. I look at Lucky and I go, I think I'm such a better dog parent now that I'm a little bit older than if you would have gotten me when I was younger. I might have had more energy when I was younger, or more, let's get up and go. But I was so much more pissed off and reactionary and doing my wine more in the evening. And so now I feel like this is an opportunity for Aries to really illuminate a path. I don't want to take the warrior out of Aries ever, But now I want you to feel good about when you go to war, you're going to war for something you really believe in, something you think is important to you, not just for the sake of being assertive. And I think if you, as an Aries, rising, moon, sun, or stellium, really looked at your actions, you would see that you have more of a knight of the round table than just a Attila the Hun, you know? And I think that's important. I think it's important to see yourself as a spiritual warrior, as somebody who's standing for truth and justice. Not somebody who just wants to walk around pissed off and angry and resentful. That's not fair. And it's not true. So take a little time. And I want to offer this for our Aries, because you're a fire sign. It might not be a bad idea to put yourself in some water this week, and not to create steam, but more relaxation. You know, maybe if you're near a body of water, if you're near a lake or a stream or the ocean, give yourself an opportunity to spend some time near it, even to hear it or to smell it. So I think it'll start to calm the burning, is the way I want to put it. And that burning is a yearning as well. So a little bit of trust in a bigger picture. And I also want to offer this in my final words for Aries, that if for some reason disruption, this full moon illuminates something that feels like, I feel like I want to put it this way. I feel like I know a certain level of disruption, and now this full moon is going to take it to another level. Like, are you kidding me? Try to take a breath. Because the universe, I think, is opening things up for you in a much more viable and valuable and effective way. And it will help you to hold your sword as Excalibur, the sword of truth, versus just wielding your sword out of frustration. All right. That's it for me for this week. I want to thank everybody for joining. I really appreciate you coming every week and watching. And if you'd like to book a reading, you can find me on Lotta's website. And in the meantime, I had told a client that I have 4 women coming next Sunday. So I may not show up next Sunday, but for now, I'm just going to say I'll be here because she hasn't confirmed. But if for some reason I don't show up next Sunday, it's because I ended up having to make a lot of money. Yay! Okay, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your patience with me and your love. I feel it. I want to thank you for joining every week, and for all the new people, I hope you'll come back. Sending lots of love. Now I'm peace out. See you later.